Generation 5 has been my favorite Pokemon generation for a long time now. They weren't the games I grew up with, necessarily, as before Generation 6, I had the most hours in Gen 3, at least I believe. They're my favorites even despite the nostalgia factor I hold for Generation 2, because it was my first Pokemon game after all. I was the one who continually defended Generation 5 from the other people I knew around the time, especially in like my high school Pokemon club. And I bet you're not terribly surprised that me, of all people, was in a Pokemon club in high school. But I defended the games because Game Freak took a risk with Generation 5 and Unova, and having a more complex story and a more impactful story, as well as trying to do a soft reboot of the franchise by introducing a group of 156 new Pokemon, the most Pokemon ever introduced in a single generation, as they tried to make some sort of Gen 1 analogs and refresh the series by only including the Unova Pokemon in the first Unova games, at least before the post-game. While a lot of the new Pokemon, they're really cool, they evolve stupidly late, which is actually something that comes up quite a bit later on in this challenge, but we'll discuss that later. I also really liked that Unova was the first place based outside of Japan. It kind of makes sense that it was like based on New York City and whatnot, like specifically Castilia is like Manhattan and everything like that. And I just love basically everything about Generation 5. I love the aesthetics of everything. Pokemon has never looked better. I will defend that to the day I die. It has never looked better than Generation 5. And the music is my favorite soundtrack in all of Pokemon. And I would still argue it's the best overall story in all of Pokemon. This is the first ever time I used the female character and the moniker of Olivia. I've had this copy of Pokemon White. Hold on, let's see. It's in the DS, yes. So it's in my Capture DS right now. I've had this copy of Pokemon White since late 2011. And this, which came up in the Soul Silver Shiny Badge quest, which you can't really see. There we go. You can kind of see it. There you go. The special edition Pokemon White. I got these two things Christmas or my birthday, something like that, either late 2011 or early 2012, and I've had this Pokemon game ever since. It's the one that I never ever thought about selling, and the DS that I fixed because I cared so much about it. Since then, I've played Unova so many times, and it was the first ever game I built a competitive team in. The only Pokemon I remember from it was Absol and Heracross were part of the initial team, and then I eventually added a Golduck to it with Cloud9 because my friend always had a sand team, and I hated trying to deal with the weather, so I just brought a Pokemon that would cancel the weather. And that was pretty cool. It was an okay Golduck, but you know, that was kind of how it was. And it was also during a Unova playthrough of the Blaze Black Challenge Lock, where my favorite Pokemon ever, Carnivine, became my favorite Pokemon ever, because I was a Pokemon that I had in that Nuzlocke, and it's just, Unova means so much to me. I've spent 7-8 minutes talking about how much Unova means to me, and how it holds a special place in my heart. But the one thing I never did in Generation 5 was shiny hunting. I didn't start that until Generation 6, and the first shiny I ever hunted was Bulbasaur. And that quest is on the YouTube channel. It's a very old and bad video, but you know, it's there. However, 8 years ago, in late 2016, or early 2017, I'm just going to say early 2017, because it makes it a little bit easier, I started trying to do a shiny badge quest in Pokemon White. But there's a reason it's taken 8 years. And without further ado, what is going on, dudes? My name is Lotto13, and I completed a shiny badge quest in my favorite Pokemon game, Pokemon White. And here's how it went. Like I did in the Pokemon Soul Silver Shiny Badge quest, I will be hunting for a shiny starter as our first member of our team. This is the reason this challenge has taken me 8 years. I love all of the Unova starters and have picked each of them over and over again, but sometime around 2017, I wanted to hunt for a shiny Tepig. At the time, the easiest way for me to have done that would have been to Mitsuto method in Pokemon Sun, but I couldn't yet transfer Pokemon like my 4 and Ditto because it was during that window that Bank hadn't yet been introduced for the Gen 7 games. In retrospect, I probably could have hunted an X or Oraz, but I decided that I didn't want to do that, apparently, and I wanted to do some soft resets in Pokemon White because why the heck not? I did look into RNG manipulation multiple times, like during the actual hunt, but I had previously wiped my save to start at the beginning, and you need to like catch a high level Pokemon that its IVs are easily identifiable in order to get your RNG seed for your game and things like that. And I didn't want to replay through it at that time and do that. So I'm like, whatever, I'm just going to soft reset. It shouldn't take that long. For reference, this was also the first time I ever tried to do a soft reset hunt in any Pokemon game. Needless to say, I was very much incorrect that it would be short. Unlike the starter hunting in Pokemon Soul Silver, the gift box simulator, as I will be calling it, is an agonizingly slow hunt. The opening cutscene is longer, then you have to see the animation of the card being shown to your face, and then the gift opening up. Only then can you choose your starter. However, the shinies do not show up here. You have to span through Bianca's text in order to get into the battle with her, and then you can see your shiny Pokemon. And if it's not, you gotta soft reset and do it all over again. On average, resets take about a minute and a half, with the session I recorded before I wrote this part of the script as only achieving 150 total resets in 3 hours. So 50 resets an hour, which is pretty consistent about along the entire time. And that was me mashing at full speed, which is brutal. When I started the hunt in 2017, I got to 10,500 resets over the course of the year, before I just never came back to the hunt, because of how agonizingly long and slow it was. And also because I probably got super burned out of shiny hunting and Pokemon, because there was a lot of things going on in 2017, 2018 that led to a whole lot of burnout and things like that with Pokemon and whatnot. And I think I just got sick of it. Not to mention, it was around that time where this DS like stopped working. It would like crash every time you tried to boot a game because the Wi-Fi card was busted, and then I needed to replace that, and I didn't replace that until during the pandemic. And so at the time I did have my Capture DS, but the right hinge is broken, and it makes soft resetting a lot harder. I can show you, it's literally sitting right in front of me, where this is busted. I've ordered another Capture DS, but it has yet to arrive. I ordered it like 3 or 4 weeks ago as of recording this. Unfortunately, I deleted the phone recordings I had at the time, because I did take little screen caps phones of like resets of every like 500 or 1,000 resets or something like that, and I'd say this is how many resets we're at for the Tepig, and I recorded and like, nope, not shiny, and then I'd stop recording, and then I just go back to doing the soft resetting and whatnot. And I had them all, and then I decided at some point during the pandemic, oh, I'm never ever gonna come back to this hunt. And so I deleted those footage. I actually had the page of yellow notepad. This is like time codes for another video or something like that, so I know where to put in cars and things like that, because it makes it easier for me. But I had one of these. I had multiple of these, like half of a pad with tally marks, because that's how I would mark things rather than using Counter App, because it's just simpler for me, and I didn't start like counting counters on the computer until the Soul Silver Shiny Badge Quest. But I had that up until sometime last year when I recycled that. So unfortunately, the footage you're going to be seeing is from the modern portion of the hunt. So I hope you don't mind. I'm not just trying to blow smoke up your ass. Oh yeah, I totally did 10,500 resets because, like, yeah, just big number. Yeah, I had to have a big number. It's like, I would have preferred to not have the big number. But there's a big number. As you can see, the big number. You'll see it on the screen. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I didn't think I'd try to finish this hunt because it's far easier to get a shiny Tepig elsewhere. I have 2 of them in Pokemon Scarlet because I actually did go hunt them with Herba Mystica before I came back to this hunt in the middle of the Soul Silver Shiny Badge Quest. And then I also found one during one of the Pokemon Go events in 2025 earlier this year, where I found a shiny Tepig in Pokemon Go, which is pretty cool as well. And so, but I knew it was not special enough. It had to be. I had to come back to this. I had to make it feel like this Tepig mattered, because I don't care about those 2 random Tepig that I have in Pokemon Scarlet, bro. They're just shiny Tepig that I just found just to find them. I want my favorite Unova starter. I want it. And I knew that I had to come back to it. Another thing that has made me super interested in full-on shiny hunting is the people like Absolblog's Pokemon, the Gremlin. This was off the cuff, so excuse me for forgetting Quick Panic as well, who commented actually on the Soul Silver Shiny Badge Quest, which was pretty cool. Tales of Taylor and things like that. You have a whole bunch of people, this massive community of people that I really enjoyed their videos and helped inspire me to come back to this, like last year when I was doing the Soul Silver one. Nobody had done Pokemon White, so it's like, hey, here we go. So, as I mentioned earlier, the number quickly ballooned to around 12,000, which is when I actually took another long break last year in 2024 from the hunt, before I had done either of the SBQs. I did some intermittent hunting throughout the time I was doing the Violet one, but not very much, and then consistent resets after the completion of the Soul Silver Shiny Badge Quest, as I'm like, well, this should be my next project, because I was doing some Soul Silver hunting on the side, but I wanted to give that a bit of a rest, because I've been playing so much Soul Silver, and I wanted to take a little bit of a break from that. And the 8-year hunt once again surpassed the highest number of encounters. I mentioned during the Soul Silver Shiny Badge Quest that Yosuke the Rattata had passed my previous highest shiny hunting number, which was at the time was 12,000, which was the Tepig. And it passed that, and it didn't take very long for me to pass that again with Tepig. Jeddah joked with me saying, what if they were shiny locked? Which I know they're not, but at that point it almost kind of felt like it was, because the hunt was taking so long. It's like the amount of numbers that I would actually get. Like, chronologically, it took a really long time to get those amount of numbers, which was actually the worst part of it. I did a random odds calculation in the middle of this hunt, and the percentage of the chance I should have already had the shiny was pretty high, and it was quite like, of course, you know? Jadric added some Tepig emotes to our server to make fun of me and how long the hunt was taking, one of which that was animated I helped him make because I thought it was funny, and you'll see them up on the screen. I eventually decided to buy a Japanese Pokemon Black so I could double hunt and try to get this done faster after I reached 20,000 total encounters. I didn't get it until it was at 20,250, so from 20,250 onward is when I started double hunting for this hunt. Here's a little bit of me checking out the person's file on the cartridge. Wait, it's all still in English? That's really funny. Let's explore this a little bit. It says in English too? They're just at Lenora's gym. What is their team? It's so funny trying to read this when I don't, I'm not reading it. I can't read it. It's like completely, it's legitimately nothing to me, but it's funny. Anything special about these Pokemon? Or are they just all normal playthrough Pokemon? Wonder what their name says. Ayuyun. Okay, that's cool. With that, it was double hunting time. I quickly got the black game up to the gift box simulator because it's only like a minute into the game, and I initially considered looking up the kana for Olivia in Japanese, but I just went with the name Clove, who is my favorite Valorant character. And if you remember, I said something in the Destiny Mark shiny hunting video that kind of alluded to this without actually like outright saying it, which is kind of funny. But with that, it was now double hunting time. I took a week and a half break from hunting after I reached 21,100 resets, and I decided to come back to hunting while I took my grandparents to an eye appointment. I got about 15 done because I was just solo hunting and we weren't there terribly long. I decided to keep hunting once I returned home. And on June 13th, 2025, a little more than 8 years since I started this hunt, my Tepig finally shined. Yes! Yes! Oh my god! Oh my god, dude. It finally happened! Oh my god, hold on. 21,266. Oh my gosh, it's on the Japanese game too. Oh my god. Holy shit, my heart is pounding. It happened! Let's go! Oh my god. Oh. Dude, I'm so glad it happened during the day too. Ah! Oh my god. Holy shit, dude. 8 years. 8 years and it took a new game. Like, I've never reacted this hard for a shiny dude. Oh my god. Oh. And it happened on the game that was recording. That's the best part. That's actually the best part. Holy crap. Holy crap. I'm like, I have to get my heart rate down, bro. Holy shit. Oh, it finally happened. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked. I was hunting on the American game is on this one. Oh man, I'm actually like shaking. Oh. That's crazy. Okay, well, I can't speak Japanese. I need to untape my L button so I can actually. Oh my god. I'm shaking. It's so hard to get it off of this, bro. This is crazy. Oh, all right. Well, at least I know the first one is tackle because I've been seeing it on the American game. Oh, I know what I'm going to name this now as the being a male, not being a female Tepig. Oh my god, I'm so stoked. Oh. This is crazy. Okay, so this is really funny. This is really funny. There's the joke that subscribing to PM7 gets you more shiny luck, and I'm happening to be watching PM7's newest video as of recording this, which is the Switch 2 turns Pokemon Scarlet into a new game. Oh my god. Whew. That's so sick. That's so sick! I'm so excited! Holy crap. But I'm gonna name him Junpei. Once we get to that, I'm gonna figure out the, hurry up. I need to get to save. This is plugged into the charger, so it's not gonna die. But, let's go, dude. Thank you for healing my Pokemon. My single Tepig. Damn, look at that! We can see the sparkles again! You guys got to see it because it's recorded. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. That's so beautiful. I was actually, the funny thing is, once I got to 21,230 or 21,300, I was legitimately going to switch games and put the English copy on the Capture DS for the recording. It turns out it didn't matter. I didn't even need to get that far. Oh, that's sick! Oh, it took so long, man. I knew the payoff was going to be great because, like, hunting this guy in Scarlet and Violet did not scratch that itch. Like, I knew I had to finish this. I can't believe it. I still can't believe it. Alright. Immediate save. Immediate save. We're naming after Persona 3 characters, because I was going to name it Karlach if it ended up being a female Tepig, and, like, the chances of that are even more slim, which it did not happen, but it's fine. I'm so down with naming them after Persona 3. I'm addicted to it. I gotta go stop my dog. Goddamn. That does not... How does that look so weird? I don't understand. Not important. It was caught in 2049! What the hell happened to my DS settings? Oh my god! The game would have you believe it was November 2nd of 2049. I'm guessing that's something due to Luma resetting the device clock or something, but it's pretty funny. After stumbling my way through the game with a language I didn't yet have the ability to read, seeing a propaganda rally that I understood nothing of, battling our future rival N and Bianca again, finally getting running shoes, grinding Junpei against a number of trainers, and arriving in Striaton City, it's time for more tedious tasks. It's been so long since I played the original Gen 5, I forgot you don't get the option to trade until after the events of the Dream Yard, which you obviously have to beat the first gym for. So I'm going to have to do this entire part in the Japanese game, which isn't that big of a deal because it's pretty straightforward and Junpei got pretty overleveled, so it wasn't too difficult. Since we have a while to go, we must first battle Charon at the trainer's school before taking on the gym. I decided to go to the Dream Yard and get the Pansage just in case because due to the way they created this gym in order to prevent you from soloing with your starter, and the fact they changed the XP formula to make it so you get less experience from battling lower level Pokemon, it would make it harder to grind Junpei up to a level to where he could just solo the gym against the water type Panpour that we're going to have to fight, and so I just grabbed the Pansage for insurance. Also, if I overgrind the Tepig, it will not listen to me, and I need to be able to beat Lenora, so I would really like it to listen to me. Junpei cooked all the Pokemon in the gym, aside from Chris's Panpour, which I may not have used the backup Pansage to handle. And we earned our first badge of this badge quest. Upon leaving the gym, we're immediately grabbed by Fennel, who wants us to retrieve the Dream Mist from the Dream Yard, and gives us Cut, which I teach to Pansage. As we make our way further into the Dream Yard, Bianca tags along where we find little Mana. Team Plasma appears and starts trying to beat the Dream Mist out of the poor thing after we beat them in a battle. An apparition of Getsus appears, created by the Musharna hiding around the corner. And they bail. With the Dream Mist given to us by the rescued Mana, we head back to Fennel, who finally gives us the Sea Gear. I don't really care for the Sea Gear, I always turn it off because it's kind of annoying, but that basically means we have the option to now trade with my other game. So I promptly traded Junpei to my English game so I can know which moves are which without having to hold the left trigger. I debated whether or not I wanted to hunt for my next team member immediately or make my way to Nacrane City first. With my starter being Tepig and him evolving at level 17, where he'll get Arm Thrust, which is a fighting type move, I shouldn't have much trouble taking on Lenora, and all of that XP that I could get from battling all the trainers would be really helpful for our newest member. However, we're separated from the double grass that I would prefer to hunt in because it's actually just a faster encounter method. I'll explain that a little bit later when I actually hunt in it. But we're separated from the double grass by a Charon battle and then a double battle with the 2 preschoolers in front of the daycare. Oh, also the Team Plasma grunts inside the Wellspring Cave, forgot about that. After looking at encounter tables, I decided I would rather hunt in either Wellspring Cave or the Dream Yard, since I have the highest chance of finding a Pokemon that I would actually like to use. In the end, I really like the idea of hunting in Wellspring Cave, because Roggenrola would be really good for the upcoming gyms, especially Elisa, but also Woobat would be incredibly helpful later in the game when I get Fly. And also having the chance of finding Drillbur in the random dust patches never hurts. Once the decision was made, I made our way to the cave. Along the way, we fought the kindergartners and Charon, who still only has 2 Pokemon. And after defeating him, we're pushed aside by Team Plasma, who are running away from Bianca and a little girl, whose Pokemon they stole. Charon and I head to the cave, quickly beating down the grunts and returning the stolen Pokemon to the girl, earning us some heal balls, which I will use for a future team member. Now, it was time to start hunting. The way random encounters appear in black and white is really weird, because unlike a lot of the other Pokemon games, you can find a Pokemon on the literal next frame, or it takes like what feels like a minute to find another encounter. It's really strange how the things are. And right now I don't have an Illuminate Pokemon, so it's gonna make encounters a little bit slower and not optimal. On average, while double hunting, actually, I got about 250 to 300 encounters. For reference, I was getting about 200 encounters on average solo hunting in Soul Silver. So, the encounters were in general just a bit slow. Nevertheless, the number was quickly ballooning with me being able to double hunt and also getting about 1,000 total encounters each of the day I was hunting for about 4 hours at a time. While you can't see it, I kept getting Shinoed by Roggenrolas on my 2DS XL because of the screen, and the blacks being less black, which was annoying. I reached 4,000 encounters after 4 days of hunting, but I couldn't do any more at my desk because it was time for a trip. My friends and I are huge Valorant fans. If you can't tell by the many frag movies I've made of my Valorant clips, there was one actually like a couple weeks ago, or the speed arts I've done of the Valorant characters, or the premiere video I made a couple years ago, or the fact I named my character in black Clove. When Valorant Masters Toronto, one of the international tournaments Riot hosts yearly for the pros to compete at, was announced before the 2025 season, Jadric, Spare, and I decided we should all go to Toronto for the tournament, since Spare lives across the province, and it was only the second VCT event ever in North America. And so, with no conflicts actually arising, which was great, being the second to last weekend in June, we bought our tickets for the event, except Grand Finals, because even though I was in the line for those first, they got scalped immediately. They were literally gone before I even got through the queue. And I was in that queue at 8 o'clock when they opened up. We got to be in the arena for at least 2 of the days. It was still a great time. I already recapped this trip in a video already, so you should go check that out. Up in the top corner, I'll put a card there, and you should go check it out. If you want the full details, I should say. I'm gonna include the important parts in reference to this challenge. On my first flight to Chicago, I only got about 15 encounters done before motion sickness made me stop. I didn't have a super long layover in Chicago, and I didn't have a table to sit at, so I didn't do any more hunting while I was there. It was a pain to mark encounters on my paper while not at a desk, and I also wanted to use my phone for watching a video rather than using my counting app. On the last leg of my flight to Toronto, I was suddenly so exhausted I slept through the entire flight, which, spoiler alert, was probably the most rested I was the entire trip. After we met Spare in person for the first time at Rogers Center on that Thursday, where we caught the end of a Jays game, we all did some shiny hunting in the hotel room while watching Big Bang Theory, which became our nightly tradition basically because there was nothing good to watch. For the most part, we just put on Big Bang Theory because it was just a silly thing, and that just kind of became part of it. That's part of the lore. I got about 500 encounters done on that day solo hunting. After passing modern odds, or half odds, 1 in 4096, I asked my friends when they thought the shiny would appear. Both of them guessed around 5,000, which was less than 500 encounters from where I was, so I'm like, that seems pretty sick, I'd be down for that. Which is also it's also incredibly optimistic for a challenge that at that moment had already had over 20,000 encounters, or actually 25,000 encounters. The next day, we braved Toronto traffic into downtown to go to the Intergrade Center, the venue where VCT Toronto was taking place. We had a ton of fun exploring Artist Alley, where Jada got me a keychain of Clove. My backpack's upstairs, but it's on the thing. It's also in the Toronto video, so you should go check that out so you can see what it looks like. And we watched the games, but albeit we were a bit disappointed, the teams we wanted to win both lost. And after grabbing dinner, we headed back to the hotel room for some Big Bang Theory and shiny hunting. I only did about 100 more encounters because I was floored. I was so exhausted at that point. The next day in the morning, after going to the CN Tower before the lower finals at the Intergrade Center, we hung out and did a bunch more shiny hunting. Jad with his Dex Nav and me with my Pokemon White, while Spare was playing Slay the Spire on and off. I started at 4,600 encounters that day, and I decided I was going to stop for the evening once I reached 5,000 or once I got the shiny, whichever came first. Lo and behold, on June 21st, 2025, my newest friend appeared first. Alright, so we're in the hotel, fucking Toronto, Spare and Jad, so I've been hunting. I'm gonna have to decipher these numbers and figure out what was like, okay, 359 after, so 4,959. Okay, now I gotta open my damn DS. I just noticed a sparkle. It's a friggin' rock and roller. Oh my god, bro. Well, both of you were right. You both guessed under 5,000.
We were nice to you.
Yep, you were. I wanted to adjust. Why is it so blue? Stop being so blue. Focus on the colors. Oh my god. Dude, I'm so glad we got it during the trip too. Makes it even better. It's a male. Oh yeah, and Big Bang Theory's in the background. That's copyright.
Bazinga!
Yeah, right. Bazinga. Okay, well let's catch this damn thing. I'm not shaking as much as Tepic, but bro, that's sick. Okay. Alright. Do I think I need to do anything aside just throw a dust ball at it, probably? I have one dust ball, and I should catch it. Yeah, right? I got it in Stride and City, and it's perfect to use. Up, focus. We got it! Hey! Oh my god, that's so sick! Woo! The mantle Pokemon. It's okay, there we go. I got close enough to it, now you can see his little purple and gray. It's funny how much it actually changes, and Boldor and Gigalith becomes so much better.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I said I was gonna name him Akihiko. Actually, oh no, I have a better name. I actually have to look it up. Okay, I remembered what his name was. It was Aragaki. Beautiful. Alright, nature guesses.
Hardy.
Okay, Hardy. Spare? Sassy. Okay, I'm a gay mile just because everybody does that and that's funny. Brave! That's actually literally perfect. I'm not even gonna lie. Dude, he's holding an Everstone as well. Nope, we don't want to evolve. He wants to stay a little guy forever. Yeah, that's so sick, dude. Okay. I was I thought it would have actually been super funny if only the Japanese game ever found any of the shinies. But that curse has been broken because we now have Aragaki. Ah, that's so sick, dude. If you haven't guessed, with both the names so far being after Persona 3 characters, that Persona 3 Reload made a big impact on me. Especially because I was playing it a lot during the grinding of trying to find the shiny Tepig. There were even times where I was playing the game and I was doing soft resets. And so I decided that would make sense for that to be the naming theme. The naming theme does change a little bit later on, but that's we'll discuss that when that arrives. After fighting the trainers I had previously skipped to grind up our newest Aragaki the next morning, we made our way to Nacrene City, where we once again encountered N. I struggle a bit in this battle as my team is really bad against water types like Temple, but luckily Junpei was overleveled enough that he was able to clean up. After this battle, he also evolved into the ugly one! Then it was time to take on the gym. I breezed through the puzzles, I've done it so many times I haven't memorized, with Aragaki handling most of the trainers, and we made our way to battle the gym leader Lenora. Aragaki handled Herdier, though I did have to pour some water on my rock, and I sent in Junpei to handle the Watchog. The stupid crossing guard put my pig to sleep, then crit with Retaliator on the third turn after Herdier fainted, so it wasn't even boosted, OHKOing Junpei. I then had to send in Aragaki, who showed his anger and dumpstered the Watchog, living on 4 HP, claiming me my second badge of this badge quest. Right after beating the gym, Lenora's husband runs in, saying Team Plasma has arrived to steal bones. Upon reaching the museum floor, they say some stuff and then vanish in a puff of smoke with what is clearly a Dragonite skull. We are then tasked to go get it alongside Berg, the next gym leader, who happens to have arrived in Nacrene City at the perfect time. And so we head to Pinwheel Forest with him. After catching my Japanese game up to the challenge file, I had to decide what my next hunt was going to be. Since I struggle heavily with water types right now, I thought my best bet might be to hunt for Sawaddle, especially since I could find it early in Pinwheel Forest and it was very common, allowing me to save the trainers for it as well. After we beat the Sawaddle twins, which were actually a little bit difficult, and the two grunts blocking our way, it was time to hunt. I forgot that you can actually find Petlil here, which would really be super cool. With also hunting on black, Cottoning is now an option. And it definitely has the best shiny of all three. However, it didn't take long for me to decide that I wanted Petalil the most. And while it's not the best shiny possible in the area, it's more to do with the name I wanted to give it. The number quickly grew, as the hunt before it did, and I was averaging about 300 encounters per hour while double hunting, which I further timed by completing about 100 total encounters per episode of Death Note, which I started watching after the number totaled 4,000. I asked my friends again when they thought the next Pokemon would appear, and Spare guessed under the 4,959 of Roggenrola, while Jadder guessed around 7,000. Unfortunately, Spare was incorrect, as I surpassed that total before the end of my 5th hunting session. I was averaging 1,000 to 1,500 encounters per hunting session, which meant while I was seeing a lot of Pokemon and the number was going up very fast, it wasn't taking terribly long chronologically, which was nice, especially compared to what I dealt with Tepig. The more I hunted, the more and more I wanted Petalil specifically because of the name I wanted to give it, and a bunch of other things going on in my personal life during this period of hunting. Jaddark was also proven wrong, as during my 8th day of hunting, I was officially over odds. And the next day, I officially hit 5 digits for only the 3rd time ever. Are we doing this again? The next day, since I had the day off, I hunted all day, ending at 12,100 encounters, and yet our newest friend had not yet shown their face. I had a sneaking suspicion that they wanted to surpass Yosuke or Junpei even as one of my longest hunts ever. At this point, it was technically my 3rd longest hunt ever, and I really hoped it would stay that way. The next day, Sunday, July 6th, 2025, I was solo hunting in white while at my grandparents' house because my hands had been hurting from double hunting and I wanted a break from it. For the first time ever while hunting away from home, I know, seems scripted, right? I was using my phone's voice recorder to record audio alongside it being my counting device, in case my next shiny appeared, so my initial reaction wasn't lost, like it was multiple times in the Soul Silver Shiny Badge Quest. And I'm glad I decided to do that. While watching Gremlin from the Nova League's video on his Turtonator hunt, the third section of this challenge finally ended. Oh my god! Oh my god, let's go! Okay, I just found something I've been looking for a long time. Hold on. It's a very good oh my god. Oh my god, I'm actually shaking, bro. 12,280. Luckily, I was recording my audio with voice recorder because I wanted my reaction, dude. Because I got it! I fucking got it, and we got the little bit of the sparkles at the end. Oh my god! Alright. It did not exceed, it was actually like still 1,300 away or whatever from eclipsing fucking Rattata, but there she is. Oh my gosh, I gotta turn up the volume. I'm shaking, I'm legitimately shaking. It's almost as much as fucking Tepig, man. Look at it! Oh my gosh, man, I'm so stoked! Oh, I'm not at home. I decided to bring my DS and solo hunt because my hands actually fucking hurt from double hunting, specifically my left hand, so look at you! Oh my god, man. Well, this is a weak-ass Patrat, so actually, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw a Pokeball at it. I want to catch it in the heal ball here, so we're gonna throw a ball first. I'm gonna see what happens, because Patrat's not gonna knock it out. I've done some tests to make sure that it's not gonna, but if it catches immediately, that'd be great. Oh, it doesn't sparkle again in this game, that's right. How much damage? Okay. Well, you're not gonna kill me in one hit. Let's just go for tackle here. Oh my god, I got a crit and oh, that was legitimately terrifying. Oh my god, I'm glad I did a couple tests because oh my gosh, okay. Here we go. Heal ball. I noticed it too when it appeared, before it sparkled. Yes, dude! Oh my god. Oh my gosh, I'm legitimately shaking. I'm legitimately shaking. You can see to my hand. I have my hand on my knee and I'm still shaking. Look at you. It's a little yellow. Yeah, you can see my fucking left hand is shaking so bad right now. Oh, I'm so stoked, man. That's so sick. It just, the more I hunted, the more I wanted this Pokemon. So I'm gonna pull out my stylus here. I hate the stylus on the 2DS XL, but it's fine. Aerith. It's breaking the theme, and this has been the music the whole time. Oh my gosh. Alright, what nature do I want to guess? I'm gonna guess bold. Modest! That's actually really good! That kind of works out for her too. Oh my gosh, look at you, man! That's so unbelievably sick! Wait, that's my ID number? I didn't even realize. I like that, that's so funny. Oh my god, I'm so stoked! Look at this team. Fucking Aerith, Junpei, and Aragaki. Wait, I have Pokerus! This is the most insane file ever! There's no way! What? Oh my gosh, man. Okay. Alright, this is so fucking sick. I'm so stoked, dude. That's the best, bro. Not only did I find my target, but I found out that I had a sick ID number in Pokerus, which is about 3 times as rare as a shiny. This file is legitimately insane. I wanted to include a brief aside as to why I wanted Petalil and why I wanted to name it Aerith. From here on out, the names for this challenge will also be Persona 3 Reload and Final Fantasy 7. They'll just all combine and I'll pick which names I think are best for the Pokemon. That's basically what's gonna go. As these are the 2 games I was playing during the time I was hunting Tepig, and they both mean like a hell of a lot to me. Out of all the characters in Final Fantasy 7, Aerith's personality and her as a character mean a lot to me. I'm not the only person who feels this way, as Final Fantasy VII is one of the most influential games of all time. But my first experience playing it was when Remake came out. Aerith as a character is unflinchingly positive and kind in the face of her destiny and everything bad that happened to her prior to the player meeting her. And this trait inspires me greatly as I try to do my best to stay positive and to stay optimistic in the face of all the things bad that have been, happening to me in my personal life, as well as things that are outside of my control and whatnot. I don't really replay games very often. Pokemon's a little bit different because you can put in any sort of challenges and you don't have to super focus on story elements and whatnot, and you can basically do whatever you want in that. But when it comes to a lot of linear games, linear in the sense that you have a specific story that the developers want to tell you, and you don't have as much agency in the sense that you're kind of there's the things like the ludonarrative dissonance and whatnot, where you kill a whole bunch of things, but your character's not a killer because the story they want to tell you and things like that. It's kind of Pokemon's a little bit different in that way because it is more of a sandbox. You can kind of do whatever you want in every single different playthrough of it. And I don't really replay games outside of Pokemon. That's just not something I've very much done. Point is that it's very rare for me to replay single-player, story-driven games. Yet, I've replayed both parts of Final Fantasy VII, the Remake trilogy, the both parts that are out at this moment, multiple times because they mean so much to me, and because I've also done big projects on them, and that's something that was kind of new. The entire video entire game condensed into one video. That was something new that I really started with Final Fantasy VII Remake, the story so far. That was a huge video for me, and I have pretty much finished one of Rebirth. I didn't have to rush the video like I did with Remake because I decided to do Remake 2 days before Rebirth came out, and I've done this one more than a year, 2 years before that game is going to come out. So anyway, that's not important. But I kept thinking about it and editing the video that I made, and I realized how much I wanted to identify with Aerith and how much I really wanted to identify with the personality that she portrayed. I try to be the one who stays positive, not let my mistakes bother me, though there are some things that I cannot help but be annoyed by because of the fact I've got a very specific brand of autism that certain things overstimulate me, make me very mad, and even I try not to let that bother me, but it's hard. More or less a thing I really just, because I always try to be nice to everyone, everything, because you never know what someone else is actually going through and whatnot, and even in the face of overwhelming pressure and things like that. But this was especially true with everything that was happening at that time, and is still technically going on, and it means so much to me. I got a fucking permanent mark of the character on my body. So, and this is a fucking sick ass tattoo that I'm super stoked by, that I designed and things like that. So, yeah. Anyway, but also, kind of funny thing, Aerith's favorite flower is a lily, which is why I have these lilies around it. But the lily that is her favorite in the games doesn't have the pistil, which is the part in the very middle. And Lilligant also does not have one on her flower. It's just kind of funny. It just kind of works. Anyway, let's get back to Pokemon. I'm really glad I picked the Heal Ball. It looks so good with the extra sparkles. And while Aerith's first fight didn't go very well, she was able to take her first KO against a random youngster's Timber. After we make our way through Pinwheel Forest, defeating the Rangers and the Team Plasma Grunts in our way, we get the Dragonite Skull back as the random sage spouts his crap while Lenora and Berg show up. We'll follow Berg to Castelia after beating the rest of the trainers in the forest to get Aerith caught up with the rest of the party. And now, please stand for the Egg Hatching National Anthem. Upon arriving in Castelia City, I recruited the team of dancers to get the amulet coin, which I promptly forgot to put on any of my team for now, and then I started the events with Team Plasma. Go to the gym, meet up with Charon and then Berg, follow Berg to Prime Pier. It turns out that Team Plasma stole Bianca's Pokemon, and there's another random girl, Iris, that totally doesn't haunt me with her appearance in the anime. We find Team Plasma hiding out in the building across from the gym, and we beat them up. Berg tries to reason with a megalomaniac before they decide to return Bianca's mana, and then we let them escape. Iris pushes Bianca out of the building, and then Berg invites us to the gym. But first I went north, beating all the possible trainers and finding the available items in order to train up my Patrat, now named Friend, as I wanted her to evolve now that I had the Smoke Ball. I completely forgot to even reference that I got this Patrat. I got the Patrat in both games because it had a runaway to make sure I could just easily get away from Pokemon, and then I'm eventually going to evolve it into a Watchog, which is what I'm working on at this point in the script, so it can have Illuminate, and we get the Smoke Ball from beating Team Plasma, so it can have the Smoke Ball, it can always run away, and then Illuminate boosts my number of encounters. There's method to the madness. Since I didn't want to grind against any more wild Pokemon, I went into the gym. The gym was literally no problem, and Junpei could have soloed the entire thing if I didn't switch train Aerith and the Patrat, who eventually evolved into the Watchog with Illuminate. I swear, every time I go to this gym, I crave honey. Something about these walls, man. Either way, Aragaki and Junpei just ran over Berg, earning us our third badge. Immediately upon leaving the gym, we receive an X-Transceiver call from Bianca, who wants to battle us at the gate to Route 4. We quickly dispatch of her team, after which she reveals she's glad to have gone on the journey, but knows she wasn't cut out to be a trainer like us or Charon before taking off. We then have to immediately fight Charon, and despite the fact I love these games, god dang it do they not know pacing when it comes to these battles. Either way, since I already did this in black, I knew his lead and prepped accordingly. Aragaki evolved at the end of the fight. I'll trade him to the other game to get Gigalith once we reach Nimbasa. I made my way through Route 4, past all the trainers to reach the Desert Resort, where our next hunt will be. By using repels with our strategically level 20 Watchog in the Desert Resort, of which is also a cool trick to make the sandstorm disappear by making the clock tick over to a new season or month while being in the resort, we have about a 17% chance to find Sigilith, which is one of, if not my all-time favorite Gen 5 Pokemon, or, you know, it's definitely like, it's probably hard number 2 at this point. Lilligant has actually surpassed it because of this video, this challenge. But at the time of me writing the script, it was number 1. It does boost the odds of finding Maractus as well, which is unfortunate. However, we still have a solid chance of finding Sandile, which I would also be fine with. I don't really want Maractus, Darumaka, or Dwebble since they would duplicate typings, so I really hope if I don't find Sigilith, I find Sandile. This hunt was really annoying because I don't like the repel tricks, and also they didn't introduce the use another repel function until Black and White 2. They introduced so many good things in that game, and I wish that Luma's input redirection worked for playing for when you play DS games on the 3DSs, but it doesn't, because it goes to an entirely different mode, and it's annoying, so I have to do each hand to be able to do this, and then I have to menu with both hands. It's really annoying. And Illuminate just works weird. It just, especially in like the Desert Resort, like the encounters were weird there. I don't know if Illuminate doesn't work in the Desert Resort, or in the desert. I'd have no idea. It was annoying. I was getting around 200 to 250 total encounters while double hunting, depending on luck, and averaged around 1,000 per session, which took me a little bit longer than the other sessions. Considering how luck has been for the challenge, the very idea of going over odds while trying to keep the repel trick going sounds awful. Universe, I've earned an under odds hunt, wouldn't you say? You know, I knew this game was over odds. I'm very disappointed that it's a Darumaka. Oh, man. about to happen. There's only 2 things here that I wanted that weren't duplicates. Ah! Ay, ay, ay. Well, it's under odds at the very least, so I can come back here at another point. Well, you know, them's the breaks. Let's see. I shouldn't kill it with anything. We can hypnosis it too. I mean, I had a lesser chance of getting Daramaka because of the trick, because you can no longer find the level 19 ones, but you know, that only lasted for so long. Okay, so what kind of Pokeball do we use for this guy? He'll become dark red at a later point, so, but I want to use different Pokeballs for everybody, so maybe I just chuck an Ultra Ball at him. I can do Timer Ball too. Let's weaken it a bit. I should not kill it with 1 attack. It is just a Watchog after all. He immediately woke up. Went for... Is that Rage? I don't know. I don't read Japanese, unfortunately. That's probably Rage, so he's probably killing Friend. Thank you, Friend, for helping me. Alright. Let's go into Funny. I just have kind of random Pokemon. I've never used a Palpitoad, so maybe at one point I'll have to go look for a Palpitoad, because I don't know what water type. There are not very many water types in Unova. I was thinking about this actually, because I'm like, well, what do I go for? And there's not very many. Let's just go for a Timer Ball. Fuck it. Let's see what happens. But yeah, there's not very many water types in Unova. Hey, we got it. Okay. 3,000. So the funny thing is that at 5,400, I was gonna start double hunting again, because I'm just solo hunting right this moment, because my hand hurts from doing it. But anyway, we got a little pink guy, a little pink Daramaka. I knew this game was absolutely over odds, because let's see, it's been like 10,000 encounters on this game without a shiny. The last one I got, the only one I got is Tepig. I got all the other 2 so far on white. So yeah, let's see. Okay, so I'm thinking I want to name him. Okay, well, let's go look up how to write Akihiko in. What do I do? Barrett. That's the question here. I'm just gonna cut my mic here and explain what I tried to say in this moment. That because Darmanitan is a monkey, I didn't know what I wanted to name it, and I thought Barrett might not be the best name for it. You may be able to see why. So I ended up naming him Akihiko, about the Persona 3 member who kind of is a nuke. Yeah, perfect. It did it exactly right. It's exactly how it's supposed to be. I don't know. Anyway, cool. There we go. Akihiko. All right, let's go check him out. I don't know what that says. A little shiny boy. Bold, not bold, lonely. Actually, lonely's not bad at all. Okay, well, there's my cute little guy. I was really hoping for Sigilif, because Sigilif is my favorite Unova Pokemon, because it wasn't even because I never used it in Unova, which is really funny that I never used it in Unova. I used it in basically every other game from X and Y onward as like the Pokemon that I just had with me all the time, and it was the first Pokemon that I ever got to level 100, and I got it to level 100 multiple times in multiple different games, because the original Egypt, the Sigilif, disappeared along with that my sun cartridge that vanished. Then so I got another one, and I still have that one in Shield, and he's level it might be a she in that game, I don't remember. But I've changed the name. I did get a shiny one in Ultra Wormhole, so I have a shiny one, which is cool. And I have a shiny Krokorok in Scarlet, but I was hoping to get one of the 2 for this because they would both be very useful. But it's okay. We just have another little fire guy, so I'm gonna have to get him traded over to my other game. But this means I can sell my repels and get my money back on my my main game, so that's cool. I could have had a better reaction to finding a 1 in 8,192 shiny, pretty far under odds, but I was expecting to most likely find Sandile and was disappointed in a fully duplicate typing. However, of the possible options, Daramaka was probably the 3rd most desired, because Darmanitan is a nuke. And luckily, Akihiko can learn Dig, which will make him very useful for the upcoming gym. After struggling to find and catch a Sigilith to trade with my other game, I traded with Black to bring Akihiko onto the main squad. To start, I'll be taking on the Battle Company in Castilia, where I trained up our newest friend and got some cool Pokeballs and a scope lens. Not a focus lens this time. If you get that reference, like the video please. I also learned that he had the ability Hustle, which I couldn't tell earlier since when I saw it before it was in Japanese. Aerith reached level 26 at the very end, meaning once I got the Sunstone in Nimbasa, I would just be able to evolve her and not miss any good moves. Also, if I don't evolve her now, she won't get Quiver Dance until late, so that's very necessary. Then I went back to the Desert Resort and picked up all the cool items and battled a few trainers along the way. I also had to decide what I wanted to do when it came to getting a water type. While not strictly necessary, it'd be incredibly useful to have a water type so I don't have to have an HM Pokemon with me all the time. Then it was time to make our way to Nimbasa to meet Professor Juniper. She gives us a few Ultra Balls, which is very neat. And then we rescue the Daycare Man from a couple Team Plasma goons. As a reward, the Daycare Man gives us the bike. We then visit a house where the people talk about shiny Pokemon, and then I get my Sunstone, allowing me to evolve Aerith. Look at that beautiful little gent! It actually looks so good, honestly, because the blue gets blue and the pink fucking flowers like her bow. I later grabbed Strength since I remembered it was there when I caught up in Black. After we hung out with Bianca at the dress-up hall, Bianca has a moment with her dad where it's revealed he's controlling because he's scared, and Elsa convinces Bianca that she's right in wanting to do her own thing. Then he just gives up trying to force her to come home, which is honestly admirable in this context. Either way, upon heading toward the gym, we once again encounter N. He wants us to go on the Ferris wheel with him, where he reveals he's the king of Team Plasma. Which is weird that you're a king of an organization. I suppose the idea is that he would be king of Unova once they won or whatever, but it's kind of weird. Of course, I'm not a big fan of his methods, so to buy time for his grunts to escape, we battle him, where Aerith and Aragaki get to show off their new evolutions in battle for the first time. N then tells us to get all the badges, but he's gonna have to wait until I get at least 4 more shinies. From there, I decided to immediately take on the gym. Our entire team got to participate against the trainers, and Aragaki stole the show against Elisa, winning us our 4th badge of the quest. I decided I wanted my next hunt to be for my water type, but unfortunately in Unova I have very few options. You've got Oshawott, which I have no opportunity to get, Temple, Ducklet, Basculin, and Tortuga. There's also technically Panpour, but I don't really want to hunt in the Shaking Patches for that. The only place to find Ducklet is Driftfell Drawbridge, and I can tell you I have no interest in trying to find a shiny there because you get like so few encounters. I don't have Surf yet, and you don't get the fishing rod until post-game, so I literally cannot get Basculin. That leaves random encounters alongside a bunch of other Pokemon for Temple, or fossil resets for Tortuga. The last time I used Tortuga was on my original playthrough of Pokemon Black, which was the first game that I had. I had Pokemon Black first because I thought Zekrom was in the Pokemon Black game. Funny enough, Caracosta is the only Pokemon that I remember from my first Unova playthrough. I don't even remember what starter I picked, but I remember that I had a Caracosta. And I decided that was going to be my next target. I chose the cover fossil in both of my games from the girl at the Relic Castle. And then I decided to put both fossils on my white game in order to do the resets faster, since I could just trade it over as a held item. Upon heading all the way back to Nacrene City, we're back to soft resets. Not my preferred method, but it'll help my hand since I will not be double hunting. Luckily, the resets are a decent amount quicker than the gift box simulator, taking only about a minute total. And I ended up making it faster.
But wait. Dun dun dun! For a soft reset hunt, we're gonna do 4 encounters at a time.
It would have been a chore to use 2 systems, so I actually just traded myself 3 extra fossils from a copy of my save, which is a bit cheaty, but also I'm soft resetting for these, and it's just going to be far more efficient use of my time to have 5. So if you're mad about that, sorry, I don't really care. With all 5 fossils, each reset takes about 2 minutes total, so in the end I got about 50 more encounters per hour than I did with double hunting Tepig. Now, I don't know if it's just everything else going on around this, the fact that I have to get up super early for work, and then I come home, and then I walk my dog, and then it's like, then I'm doing this boring ass hunt, but this hunt felt like such a major chore. Unlike Tepig, where things were going on, despite me just spamming A, nothing happens while hunting for Tortuga. I just talk to the lady at the counter constantly. I didn't realize the turtle only has a 12.5% chance of being a female, and I was initially hoping to find a female shiny Tortuga, but that's just an astronomically small chance to find. I put the number of 65,536 in my script. I don't know if that's right. 12.5% chance, like a 1 in 8 on top of the 1 in 8,192. So I think that's right. However, the universe knew I needed to be back at a normal average, as at this point, I was averaging about 11,000 encounters per shiny this challenge, being the exact number being 10,975. And on July 15th, 2025, our newest friend surprised me with their appearance. Unfortunately, Audacity was bugging. It's done this multiple times since the newest update, where it flatlines and records nothing, so the audio of my reaction was not captured until I happened to check it halfway through my reaction. At least you can see my face, and I'll put subtitles of what I actually said. Now the average is only a bit above 9,000. 9,084 per shiny. You didn't get to hear my audio because Audacity did its weird thing again. That's so annoying. Well, I went, yes, dude, let's go. You could see by my expression, you know? I'm recording the audio now in OBS. Hopefully I'm not overmatched by the music too much. But sometimes that Audacity will just randomly decide to stop recording the microphone, and it's just a flat line. So it's a weird thing that it does that, and it's really annoying. Well, I'm disappointed that my audio was not recorded when it happened, but at least you saw my reaction. Fuck! Why does it? Because it literally now we're back to the Audacity recording. I can switch it immediately. 303 resets, 1,515 encounters. Actually, it's 1516. Technically, this is the first one of the next batch, which would have been 304. Okay, well, there we go. We got my little boy. That's so sick, dude. Of course, I said it wasn't the female, but... Ah, yes, man. I'm so excited. Okay, well, now I can switch back to the... I say switch back, but it's literally, I just... I just hide these scenes, and we go. We can go now. We can go to Clay. It's changing all the seasons because I changed my DS clock back to normal because I didn't need it for the Desert Resort no more. At least right now. Whoo, man. God, that's some Soul Silver ass luck, bro. Speaking of Soul Silver, I'm at like 4,600 for the next one on that one. All right, let's go send him out into battle because we didn't get to see him sparkle because it's a menu hunt. And I'll go name him on the way back to when we go up to Nimbasa and go over to, there we go, regular Pit of and future Barrett the Tortuga. Look at him. Yes, dude. I'm also disappointed that it's oh yeah, he's in a Pokeball, but it's not a big deal. It's just because he's obviously a gift Pokemon. By default, it puts in a Pokeball. All right, well, I'm gonna go name him now. Oh, I'm so excited. Let's go, dude. After giving our little turtle his new name of Barrett, I headed back to Nimbasa City, then headed east to Route 16 to battle the trainers on the route and catch Barrett up to the rest of the team. But it didn't come without its struggles. Upon heading west to Route 5, we're immediately challenged by Charon, who is handled neatly by Barrett. And then we follow Elisa to where Alder, the champion, is waiting. Alder questions Charon's worldview and his reasoning for wanting to become stronger after he questions why Alder is relaxing. I really like this whole idea where the goal doesn't have to be you have to be the best. You have to have just a reason for what you're wanting to do. And I really like that sort of thing because there is a lot of this like in our even in our modern society that you have to be the best. You have to be the best rather than you just have your reason to be how you want to do things. It's one of those questions that makes me think about the things I'm doing in my life and like what I really want to accomplish by doing them. Like, am I trying to make YouTube videos because I want to be the best YouTuber, I want to make a shitload of money, or is it just because I really, really enjoy making these types of videos and things that I put my heart into, and even if they don't like explode and become like super popular like the Soul Silver Shiny Badge quest did, which was fucking awesome. I really enjoyed just making that video, but the fact it did so well, made it even better. Obviously, I'm not trying to prove myself by being the best Pokemon player, being the best Nuzlocke, or even the best Shiny Hunter. I just really enjoy making these videos, and it's honestly just that idea from Alder that makes me I like that. I like that idea. The Driftveil drawbridge drops. The Driftveil drawbridge drops, and now we're able to head to Driftveil City, home to one of the best and most famous tracks in the history of Pokemon. After Clay blames us for Team Plasma escaping and tells us to go to the cold storage, I explored Driftveil and battled Charles, the Heartbreaker. We entered the cold storage woefully underdressed, and partook in the rudimentary ice puzzles as we forged deeper into the warehouse, where we find Team Plasma huddled together. After beating them all, they get taken away by Clay's men, only to be let go and Get disappears. After going through the most practical of the impractical Unova gyms, it was time to take on Clay. Everything went great until Excadrill, where Barrett would have soloed it, yet somehow he wasn't at full health, so we got one shot because Sturdy didn't activate. Then Aerith got flanched, and for some reason after healing Barrett, bringing it back in, Excadrill used Slash instead of Bulldoze to break the Sturdy, and when I thought Clay would heal, he didn't, and I would have won with Barrett if I'd used Aqua Jet. Nevertheless, the literal rock of the team, Aragaki, finished it off with a Rock Smash, earning us our 5th badge of the quest. Oh, also I happened to find a shiny female Tortuga only a few days later in Pokemon Go, which is kind of insane. Immediately upon trying to leave Driftveil City, Bianca challenges us to a battle. We're able to sweep her away pretty easily, and then she gives us Fly. I wish we got Surf earlier than Fly, 1, because it would be a great move to give to my Tortuga, so he'd have a better water type move. 2, I don't have a Fly Pokemon. 3, it'd be very useful for the upcoming route, because I also would have the opportunity to hunt in Mr. Alton Cave if I decided to do that. After trudging through Route 6, trying and failing to dodge trainers, we arrive at Chargestone Cave, which is currently obstructed by a Galvantula web. Clay appears and has his Croc destroy it, then gives us Bulldoze before trying to say something impactful, but it's the thought that counts. Inside Chargestone Cave, Anne is waiting for us, yet for some reason the Shadow Dyad, there's only 2 of them so I'm not calling them the Shadow Triad, usher me 5 feet further to where Anne is standing. He spouts talking points that I wasn't really listening to, and then leaves. Right after that, Bianca and Professor Juniper show up as they're studying the cave. Juniper gives us a lucky egg, which is cool and will be helpful later, and then they leave us alone. Now, we're finally ready to start our next hunt here in Chargestone Cave. The only possible duplicate we can find here is Bulldor, and for reference, if I find a duplicate, I'll count as a phase. I'll continue to hunt for the next unique shiny I find. Here, I would be fine with basically anything that might sparkle, but I'm secretly, well, not so secretly now, hoping for Clink because of my attachment to the line after the Sword and Shield Soul Link. Either way, Clink or Joltik would be my preferred finds here. However, Temple would be cool too. Temple would be cool too. Random encounters here were just like Wellspring Cave, with the occasional dust cloud and similar encounter rates. I knew for sure that I would not get this one nearly as under odds as Tortuga, and I quickly passed that mark on my second day of hunting. During the session, I happened to check the levels of the encounters again and realized I could do another repel trick to avoid finding Bulldor and Ferroseed since it dupes up on grass. And so I went to work training up my Watchdogs level 26 using the lucky egg that Juniper just gave me. I also remembered part of the way through my 3rd day of hunting that I could use the bike, as it was the first random encounter hunt I've been able to do since I got it. This makes the strain on my hands far less since I don't have to be pressing the B button, and it's so much faster. At least I realized it before it was too late in the hunt, or, never use the bike at all. With the repel trick being so drastic and cutting out most of the encounters, there were entire repels I would waste with no encounters, leading me to get about half the number of encounters I did double hunting in the Desert Resort with the repel trick there. Eventually, I gave up on the trick entirely and just hoped I could avoid Ferroseed or Bulldor. as I was averaging between 300 and 400 encounters per hour with the speed of the bike without the repels. Honestly, there wasn't that much special about the hunt. While I love the inside of Chargestone Cave, it was just me going back and forth and just watching stuff on the thing, and nothing special happened during it. I was just hunting. As the hunt went on, I was more and more okay with finding a Joltik instead of a Clink, as it would actually be really good, and I had some good names for the Pokemon. But I was really hoping that I would just find a female. If I didn't find Clink, I would find a female Pokemon, because I was running out of male names. And much to my surprise, I got to use one, as on July 21st, 2025, our newest friend Sparkles lit up the Chargestone Cave. Yes! Yes, dude! Oh my god! Oh, I can't believe I got it today! What? What the fuck? Yo, that's so sick! What is this with the under odds? Oh, yes, man, that's so fucking cool! Oh, that's sick. Yes! I'm so glad this is the one that I wanted. This is the one that I wanted more than anything, because of the fact it's a steel type. It'll be really good for Bryson, even though I don't need help with Bryson, but it can also learn electric moves, and I have a particular attachment to Clink. There it is, there's Jinx. It's not going to be named Jinx because I'm going with a naming theme, but this was my, basically, it was the second or third Pokemon that I got in the Soul Link that I did with Jadric, and it was my favorite Pokemon throughout the entire series because despite everything, it was there until the end. So, oh, let's go, dude, that's so incredibly sick. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to try to catch it in a Quick Ball. So, we're gonna go for the Quick Ball here. Oh, that's so cool! I'm so stoked, man! Let's go! Whew! I still wanna call it Aegis, though. Just because... Whew, that's so good! That's so good! Okay, I did wanna call it Aegis because I wanted to keep my naming theme. And it's on the captured ES! What the hell is happening? That's 3 under odds in a row. That's crazy, bro. Alright. I gotta go get her from the PC. Get her, get them, you know, same difference. I gotta go. Gotta go! Oh my god, I'm so stoked, bro. That's so sick. That's so sick. Get off the bike. I don't have a fly Pokemon. That's something that I gotta figure out too. Because I just do not have a fly Pokemon. I need to add this to my total of everything else. But the fact that I got the damn Clink under odds, and I was okay with getting, if I got Jinx, or I say Jinx. That is what I got. I got Jinx. But God, I keep forgetting. I have Eliminate. There's a reason I'm fighting so many damn Pokemon. It's because I have Eliminate. If this were a Dream Team quest, I'd already have multiple of my Dream Team on this team, which is literally half of my team now is Dream Team Pokemon. But it's not really a Dream Team quest. It's kind of funny though. There you are! She has a lax nature with minus. Okay. And we're gonna put you in the party and we're gonna have to send you out. This is the one I'm going to, oh, of course it's a Jolly Nature one. Well, that's too bad. I'm gonna do that trade very quickly, so we'll come back in a moment. I didn't save either. This is a perfect time to save too. Let's go, bro. Let's go. Oh my god, look at my team. That's so fucking cool. Not to mention they're all shiny. With this hunt out of the total, the average is only just above odds. 6 shinies and 49,888 encounters, or 1 in 8,315. It's kind of like the cartridge just rewarding me. It's like, hey, you got past Tepig. Great, here's some shiny Pokemon. Imagine if I had shiny hunted with this game, like, way back in the day. I made my way back to Chargestone Cave after getting Aegis and ventured deeper into her birthplace. Did you know, according to whatever data the professor found, that Clink just magically showed up 100 years ago? Did it get created by magic, or how does something like that just appear. It didn't evolve because it's like a frickin', it's gears. It's sentient gears. How the fuck did it just appear? Who created it? There's a conspiracy, I tell you. I actually like wonder if this was sort of kind of hinting at like the wormhole stuff that not the wormhole, what are they called? Space-time distortions and like Legends Arceus, even though Clink wasn't a part of that. I do wonder if that there's some sort of hinting at that it's like, hey, there's like, it just came from another place and just appeared in Chargestone Cave, and that's why. Don't know. Anyway, we encountered a bunch of Team Plasma goons who aren't doing anything. They're just standing there trying to ambush us, but they all failed to really make a dent in my League of Shinies. At the end of the cave, N is waiting for us, where he tells us about his dream of having only black and white, right or wrong, without any nuance whatsoever. Quite a naive assumption of him. After soundly beating his team in his frustration, he lashes out at the professor who has suddenly appeared because he believes her worldview to be incorrect, despite not exactly knowing why she does what she does, which is, you know, extremely typical in our modern day. Do you see why I love the story premise so much? Once he storms off and the girls go back into the cave, we arrive in the city with my favorite track in all of Pokemon, Mistral City. We quickly meet Cedric Juniper, who upgrades our Pokedex in some way I don't really care about, and then our next opponent, Skyla, the Flying-type gym leader. However, before we can challenge her, we must make our way to Celestial Tower. She said we can follow if we want, but we actually have no choice. As we make our way there, I get caught by trap trainers, and Agihiko gets to level 35, evolving into Darmanitan, our first evolution in so long. This random trainer's Axie reminded me of another place I could hunt to have the possibility of getting a fly Pokemon, which I'll discuss when it's time to do that hunt. After trying and failing to dodge trainers in Celestial Tower, we reach the top, where Skyla informs us she gave a revive to a Pokemon and said it's on its way. Then she asks us to ring the bell, which tells her our character, and she invites us to the gym. Then I had to walk out of the tower, which is when I discovered something. Even though Audacity did the thing where my audio like flatlined or whatever, when you press B, it turns the trainers in the tower, which I never ever noticed in all my years of playing this game. Upon returning to Mistral City, I head to the gym. The gym puzzle is cannons, and so we get our bones pulverized as we fly through the gym. Barrett as a Tortuga immensely pissed me off because of this battle, where, as I already mentioned, Audacity was doing this stupid thing. He can't break through confusion, he can't hit the damn thing, can't do enough damage. I need it to evolve. And so I just decided to evolve him, and accidentally wasted an extra rare candy in doing so, which was annoying, but I just needed him to be able to do more damage. Eventually, after smashing into the back wall, we arrive at Skyla, and it's time to battle. We have very little trouble beating her team, with half of my team being good against flying types, earning us my favorite badge in all of Pokemon. Upon leaving the gym, N confronts us, telling his plans and checking to see if my Pokemon trust me. He then tells us about the stones the legendaries turn into, and how they're seeking them out, and then he leaves. From here, I immediately went toward Twist Mountain to fight Charon, getting pissed about the millions of double and triple protects that keep happening, including against Charon, and finally getting Surf from Alder, who jumps off the cliff and somehow doesn't break his knees. I guess everyone in this world just has like the Apex Legends shock absorbers. After realizing I couldn't go back to Driftvale City without going through Chargestone Cave again, I had to catch a Tranquil to fly back, which couldn't have gone worse. Eventually I flew back to Driftvale and headed to where my next hunt would be. The idea for my next hunt was either on Route 5, since I like all the Pokemon there, or in Mistral Cave, because not only do I have a chance of finding an Axew, but also the chance of finding a fly Pokemon in Woobat, and the only duplicate there is Boldore once again. I decided the possibility of having a flying Pokemon would be very convenient, or having the chance of Axew, which is an awesome Pokemon, which also would have been a Dream Team shiny if I was doing one of those. So in the end, I decided to go to Mistral Cave, meaning this is the third team member I'd be searching for in a cave. Sorry about that, I'll finally hunt Double Grass for my final shiny. As much as I don't want this to be the case, with having 300 odds hunts in a row, this one is bound to be over odds, right? This hunt was very boring. Something about the brown cave made it annoying, but I got a similar hourly average of encounters to my previous hunt in Chargestone Cave. during the course of the hunt, I started watching Evangelion, and Mega Dragonite was announced. And because of the discussion in my Discord group chat, it got me thinking about Pokemon and its trajectory as of late. So I'm going to keep you hostage here for like a minute. I'm actually going to try to keep it to a minute. I talked way too long about Aerith and my love of Unova. So we're gonna try to keep it short. I've been a Pokemon fan for 22 years, and I want better for the series, as a lot of other people do. I don't expect a new game for me to like surpass Black and White as like my favorite of all time. For all the new Pokemon fans, I want better for the series, as like Scarlet and Violet were woefully unoptimized, and they were annoying, and like the DLCs gave me motion sickness because of the stupid how bad the frames were and whatnot. And like it just makes me annoyed that they don't give the Pokemon team enough time to like optimize the game. It doesn't even have to look the prettiest, but you have like I always compare it to Breath of the Wild, because Breath of the Wild was made on the same hardware and it looks beautiful and it runs pretty consistently at a 30 FPS, and that's what Scarlet and Violet should have been like that. It should have just been better. And so it's kind of annoying in that sense. And obviously, I'm not gonna pre-order Legend ZA. I will play that at some point, but I'm not gonna pre-order it because I don't want to reward Nintendo. I also don't want to pay $500 for a Switch 2. Because they should have been able to optimize it for this console. So I think you shouldn't have to pay an extra fee in order to get the upgraded versions of those games. I will die on that hill. Absolutely. That is stupid. Even though it's $10, you shouldn't have to pay that extra fee to get those the better performance. Either way, like it's just, I always compare it to Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, because they perform pretty well on this console, on this admittedly underpowered console. And it just annoys me that we let the Pokemon company and everything like that get away with the bad games because we keep buying them. I'm part of the problem in a sense with Scarlet and Violet, because I bought both copies. I only pre-ordered one of them, but I bought both copies and whatnot, and it's just, I don't know, man. Long story short, Pokemon fans, stop pre-ordering games, stop rewarding, and also like pre-ordering consoles, stop rewarding the companies for their shitty actions. And either way, now it's July 25th, 2025, and here is the shiny, or rather the reaction. There it is! Oh my god, this is the first... Yes! Yes, dude! Oh my god, 4816! What the fuck? Holy shit! Oh my god, I have to do a lot of cutting here. Let me unplug the charger from this guy. Holy crap. So, first... Alright. We'll cut to here. Oh my god, it's a female too. That's sick. It's not focusing on my game. I wanted to so I can see. It's focusing on my face. So, oh my, okay. So this is the first time when I've been recording at my desk that the shiny has not appeared on the capture device. So, oh my god, I'm actually shaking a little bit. I was really hoping to get the XU. I kind of wanted the male so I can name it Cloud, but this is going to be Tifa. Anyways, look at her, that's so sick! Oh my gosh, it's so funny because I keep looking at that on the OBS on the screen. Holy crap, I was wondering if this was going to be done. So, alright, I'll do a little... I'll put it up on the screen here. Asking my friends, when do you think it'll come up on and whatnot? And Sparrow's like, over 8,000. What mon? Woobat. And I'm like, alright, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up as another 4K to 5K phase. And that's exactly what happened. It's only like, what? A couple hundred more than the last one. I'll splice this on top of my footage here. So, alright. Basically, we're gonna start out, I'm gonna use Hypnosis. I'm so stoked, man. I was, like, thinking about it, because I didn't know what I wanted. Like, I would have been happy with Woobat, because that gives me a fly Pokemon, because I don't have that. But I really don't need it, because, like, the only big thing is going back from Mistral and Isra City and then going back to Nimbasa or anything like that, or Driftvale. And that's the only times I really, really need it. Okay, so I can either use the net balls, or I can show you here, net balls or ultra balls, because I've used, I guess nest balls too, but I don't really want to. So we're going to try a net ball. And I'll use an ultra ball if I need to, but I kind of like the way that the net ball looks. Oh, I forgot it doesn't sparkle again in this generation. Sorry about my light. There we go! We caught her! That's so sick, dude. This English game has been popping off! Holy shit, the last couple ones have all been on this game. Everything since Darumaka has been on this game. Look at you, you're so cute! Oh my god. So part of me's like, do I name it? I'm gonna name it Tifa just for the naming theme. Because in the past I've named these all Camilla, after Camilla from Fire Emblem Fates. I don't know, man. Honestly, I think that name just still fits better. I mean, who cares about the naming thing? It's not like something's gonna happen if I don't name the guy if I don't name her Camilla, or if I name her something else, you know? Oh my gosh, I'm so stoked. All right, I'm gonna save and switch games and then have it up on the actual capture device. That's so cool, dude. I'm so stoked. I couldn't tell you why, but I kind of felt guilty that I didn't name this Axio Tifa like I initially planned. It does have rivalry. That is a bit disappointing. It'll be okay though. Oh, it's also timid. This is a terrible Axio. That's really funny. After a couple battles, I decided to fly back to Castelia and officially make this Axio Tifa instead of Camilla. I have a bunch of Camillas in many different games, so this one being Tifa, it's fine. I made my way through Twist Mountain, training of Camilla and Aegis, both of which finally evolved into only their second form. After reaching the center of the mountain, I finally got a good move for Aegis, Flash Cannon, which is a TM in the depths of the mountain. In the same room we find the Ice Rock. Upon reaching the exit, we find Charon, who had just finished beating up a Team Plasma grunt before he tells us he's still questioning what he really wants. Me and you both, brother. Upon arriving in Isra City, we're stopped by the older Juniper, who tells us about Dragon Spiral Tower, and once he lets me leave, I go pick up the hidden items I can during this part of the year. Now it's time to take on the Ice Gym. I added Akihiko back to the party over Aerith, since only she and Tifa are bad against ice, and as a result, this gym is entirely a pushover for us. Aside from a couple rockside misses and confusion, we earn our 7th badge of the challenge. Upon leaving the gym, we encounter our friends, who discuss the fact they're unsure of what they want to do and what they should be doing. And then Bryson comes out of the gym to yell at them. Or so it seems, but he was yelling at the hidden Shadow Triad members, who then tell us to go to Dragon Spiral Tower. We'll do that, but I decided I wanted to hunt for our final team member first. Going through Twist Mountain, I realized just how much we struggle with fighting types. I had to send out Aerith against them during our treks, and she was the only one who could consistently knock them out and outspeed them. So I decided a while back I wanted to hunt in the double grass of Route 5, where I have the possibility to find Gothita in black or Solosis in white. I prefer Gothita since I have a bunch of fond memories of Forrest the Gothitelle from the Black and White 2 Soul Link that I did with Jedrick, and I have a name within our theme that'll work for either gender. This doesn't even consider the other 3 options, Minccino, Lightbird, and Trubbish, which would be significantly less helpful, but I do like all their shinies. This hunt went up in numbers super quick. I was averaging more than 500 encounters per hour while double hunting. However, after reaching 2,500 while hunting away from home, I basically took the week off of hunting. The week ending in August 1st was incredibly tough and frustrating for multiple reasons. We have a bunch of animals in the house, the floors upstairs are being redone, the person who scheduled it initially was out of town, but someone else confirmed it to be a different day and we weren't informed, and things got messy, and I was shouldered with all the responsibility without knowing any of the information about anything, and it was just really, really frustrating, on top of like stress and trying to figure out what to do because it wasn't fully dry after 12 hours of drying. Anyway, it was really annoying. It was a really shitty week, and so I spent the time doing creative things like the KO drawing and another frag movie, and the Destiny Mark Shiny video, which you should go check out. Later that week, we actually had to put one of our dogs to rest because he had been dealing with cancer and whatnot, and it was like getting like super bad, and I didn't want him to obviously experience organ failure, and so we had to put him down. So rest in peace, Charlie. Well, good boy. Good little chihuahua. That weekend, I came back to hunting with a fervor, getting about 5,000 total encounters done over those 2 days, making this the longest hunt since Daramaka, and the third longest hunt of the badge quest. The next day I hunted, we reached odds. However, it wasn't much longer until our final team member decided to greet us on August 5th, 2025. There it is! Yes! Oh my gosh. Not the Pokemon I wanted, but, you know, yes! Finally! Okay. I didn't even do, so we're at 8315. Whew. I can't even show it. I can't even screenshot it. It's not on the screen. There he is. Oh, let's try to get a little screenshot here real quick. Oh, dang it. Possibly the least useful Pokemon I could have gotten, but that's perfectly fine. I really love Garbodor Shiny, so I'm actually so stoked. I had a name initially for it, which was going to be a Baden, which is an enemy you can fight. I feel like I want to change it. Also, Black has been so overdue. Blackhead was over odds by itself, and finally, it's his first shiny Staramaka. And we got a little trash bag. Okay, here we go. We're gonna Hypnosis. I'm positive that's Hypnosis. I basically have the same moveset on both of my Watchdogs. And we're gonna Psybeam the Minchino. Very specifically. Get that guy out of here. So I can put the guy to sleep. Have a higher chance of catching her. And I gotta figure out what I want to name her, because I had a bunch of names set out for all the different Pokemon, which is what I've been doing every single time, actually. I'll show the one specifically for this little I make a Discord message and whatnot. We'll start with a Nest Ball. I can easily throw a Great Ball at it. Alright, Nest Ball is the Pokemon. Let's go! Yes! I was hoping I'd get it today. 8,315 total encounters. I'm surprised this is the one that went over odds specifically. Look at you! I'm gonna take another picture of her. Black was so overdue, it's crazy. Okay, we are gonna give you a nickname. And we'll go here to this one. And I gotta figure out what I want to do. We can name it Yuffie. You know what? I kind of like that. I love Yuffie, but like, you know, it just kind of work. It doesn't make any sense at all, but I'm so down with it. All right, that's spelled right? Yes. Like with the Japanese ones, I put in the Japanese names so that and then the romanization, how I need to type it in there and whatnot. There we go. We have Yuffie. You know, that does not make any sense. Look at you. So cute. All right. It's so funny how I know like the menus perfectly even though it's in Japanese and I can't read it yet. Anyway, your nature is sassy. You know that works out. That's really perfect. Yuffie the Trubbish. Look at you. So cute. All right, I'm gonna go trade this now to the white game. That's really cool. At least poison resists fighting. Maybe I'll beat Black first so I can get the TM for Psychic and teach Psychic to Garbodor, because for some reason it learns that. I was thinking about Yuffie's name later in the day, and I made another realization when Yuffie evolved into Garbodor. Oh, I've never seen it in Gen 5. That looks so good. My Yuffie. Actually, she's got the Moogle. I didn't even realize she's got the Moogle pops too. That kind of works so good. You can see Yuffie here with a raggedy ass cloak, and then she has this little Moogle. You know, the Moogle ears and everything like that. Anyway, it just works. After trading Yuffie to the white game and then training up against the trainers in the Nimbasa arenas, it was time to continue the first climax of the story. Cedric Juniper informs us that Team Plasma blew a hole in the wall of the ancient tower and Bryson and Sharon have already gone in. After hearing something at the top that shook the entire tower, we continue going up, eventually reaching where Bryson and Sharon are being held up by some Team Plasma grunts. We head on past, defeating the Nugget Bridge of Dragon Spiral Tower until we reach one of the sages, and are surrounded by 4 more grunts, whom we swiftly beat. Eventually we reach the top of the tower, where N stands before the vast white Pokemon Reshiram. He tells us his plans to force the entire region to give up their Pokemon in the name of truth, and the threat of the Unova region's destruction before telling us to go find the Darkstone, and then he flies off. Sharon and Bryson appear right after he's gone, conveniently, and we leave the tower. After discussion outside with everyone, we decide we should go to the Relic Castle and check for the Darkstone there. Arriving at the Relic Castle, Sharon tells us to wait, while in the same breath saying to hurry up. I make my way to the bottom of the quicksand pits, battling the Team Plasma grunts that lie in wait, until we reach the bottom, where Getsus and Alder are waiting. The stone's not here, of course, and Getsus reveals his plan, the same as En's, and doesn't understand why Alder, who lost his partner Pokemon to sickness, doesn't want people to part ways with Pokemon. He leaves, and then our party leaves the castle. Upon arriving topside, not knowing what to do next, we get a call from Juniper, who tells us to hurry to Nacrene City. Alder flexes on me as he flies out of the desert, while I must run to the museum. Arriving at the museum, Lenora gives us the stone found at the desert resort, being the Darkstone that we need. Alder makes sure that we have the conviction as the only one who can save the Unova region, and then he flies off to Opelucid City. Now we must make our way to Opelucid. After traveling the Frozen Route 8 and more of Isris, which was optional but I did it anyway, we run into Bianca right before Two Blind Bridge, and she challenges us to a battle. I was very underprepared for this fight, and the Stoutland was far more difficult than it should have been. Nevertheless, we won, and Bianca gives us some max revives, but doesn't heal me! At the end of the Two Blind Bridge, Getsus awaits. The Shadow Triad freaks are so annoying because they just herd me along 5 meters to where I'm already going, and their presence in this game is pointless. Getsus chats more crap about his plan, that we got the Darkstone, and reveals their goals aren't about Pokemon, but holding power over the people of Unova region. Typical megalomaniac stuff. After grunting out against the trainers on Route 9, we arrive in the better version of Opelucid City, the past version, where Alder awaits. We spectate Getsus spewing his lies to the people of the city, and once the crowd clears, we meet the Mayor Drayden and his granddaughter? I don't remember. Iris, though, who is the gym leader in Pokemon White. We're asked to meet them at their house, where they tell us the story of the original dragon and the brothers, whose desires caused the creation of Zekrom and Reshiram, as well as the destruction of the region and the disappearance of the legendaries, and that they don't know how to resurrect them. From there, we're invited to challenge the gym. I benched Aerith and Barrett for this gym as Akihiko is a nuke, and I'm trying to evolve Tifa and Aegis. My team really struggles against dragon types. Granted, dragon was the best type before Generation 6, and so I had to heal a lot. After jumping on the dragons a bunch, we eventually reach Iris, and I happen to remember something. Tifa has rivalry, and Iris's entire team is female. 3 Dragon Claws later, we earn the final badge of the challenge. Immediately upon leaving the gym, we're greeted by Professor Juniper, who gives us a Master Ball, and I have a special plan for this later on, which I will discuss when that comes about. From there, it's time to go down Route 10 and Victory Road to get to the Pokemon League. But before that, Tifa finally evolves! I was funneling so much experience into her, and then we again have to battle Sharon. Upon defeating him, our friends reminisce about the journey and how each of us ended up having different goals and paths, despite heading out on the same journey. Once they leave, we make our way through the badge check gates before we're greeted by the steep cliff face of Victory Road. After funneling a bunch more experience into Aegis, we finally have a fully evolved team, which is sick. Aside from half of my team being unable to run from Durance, Victory Road went smoothly, and we arrived at the Pokemon League. I trained up the entire team to level 50 and used my resources to teach some Pokemon a few TMs that are stupidly relegated to the post-game, even though Route 10 trainers literally had some of these moves on Pokemon that do not learn them naturally. Yuffie now knows Psychic, Aegis knows Thunderbolt, Aerith knows Energy Ball, and Aragaki has Earthquake. I taught Junpei Burk Break, which I could have had as soon as I got to Isra City, but I forgot to talk to the elderly woman in the Pokemon Center. This was the squad I decided to bring to the Elite Four. Unfortunately, Aegis and Barrett are no help at all with these trainers. And even later on, Barrett is also just not helpful against N and Getsus, and so he will not be coming to any of these fights, even though I spent all the time to train him up. I will replace Yuffie with Aegis when we fight N and Getsus, but everyone else will stay. I decided my first test would be Marshall, him being the type I am most concerned about because we still have nothing good against fighting types, except for Yuffie Psychic. I decided to lead with Aerith in case I had the option to Quiver Dance Sweep, and wouldn't you know it, my favorite Pokemon of the entire challenge destroyed the Elite Four member I was worried about with a +4 Quiver Dance Giga Drain Sweep. Next, I decided to take on Caitlyn, the Psychic type. With Tifa's rivalry against Caitlyn's female team, a scope lens, and 2 moves that have boosted crit ratios that are also super effective against Psychic types, I fully expected her to sweep. However, she got crit turn 1 by the Ryu Nicholas, so I pressed the literal big red button and nuked her entire team with Sheer Force Flare Blitz with Aragaki handling the Sigilif, meaning we'd beaten 2 of the Elite Four in less than 15 minutes. I let Tifa have another shot against Chantal, who I decided to challenge next, as some crit Shadow Claws against her female team would rip them apart. She did lose rivalry upon hitting the Cofagrigus, but a Dragon Dance more than made up for that power loss. I accidentally mashed A too fast and D-danced again, causing Tifa to fall to Golurk's Earthquake. Aerith avenged her, and I used my first in-battle healing, the only one that I used in the Elite Four, to bring Tifa back into the fight. A couple Shadow Claws later, and Chantal was defeated. Finally is Grimsley, which I knew Junpei and Akihiko would absolutely demolish with a little help from Aerith. And with that, it's time to go fight the champion. After we do all these stairs, oh my god, what a workout! Or, it would normally be the champion, but N has defeated Alder, who was a wreck after his defeat, begging N to not force everyone to release their Pokemon. Then N calls the castle to erupt from the ground! I still have no idea what the explanation for this or how this would even be, possible, how all this construction would even work or anything like that, but, you know, magic I guess, who knows. We follow the king into the castle, only to be greeted by the other 6 of the 7 sages, who threaten to take us out. Though, I imagine we could beat them all. Then, when all of a sudden the original "on your left" occurs. I love this moment so much. After scaling the castle, getting the option to heal my Pokemon, and changing my team, which I swapped to Yuffie for Aigis like I said I would, we arrived at N's room, where the showdown will occur. Getsus is ecstatic he will no longer have to hide his true intentions of trying to manipulate everyone into doing what he wants, so he can rule the powerless citizens of Unova with an iron fist. Sound familiar? And tells us to go fight N. After being disappointed Zekrom has not appeared, N calls Reshiram. Then, the Darkstone finally begins reacting, and the box art legendary appears to us, and we must catch it. Unfortunately, it can never be shiny, and so it won't be joining the team. And now, it's time for the battle to determine the fate of the Unova region. Aragaki is easily able to handle Reshiram, and from there, the rest of the fight goes just as smoothly with only Tifa not getting involved in the action. N takes the loss gracefully, realizing that there must be more than this if his beliefs weren't strong enough. Gessa stalks into the room, decrying N and say he doesn't deserve to share his last name. He then straight up yells about the only reason N befriended the legendary was to give Team Plasma the power to control the people of Unova, and Getsus himself could not befriend the legendary Pokemon, because he's a piece of shit, obviously. We must be eliminated since we know his true plan. And the claim of liberating Pokemon for Pokemon's sake was a lie to convince the masses. From here, I'll let my voiceover do the rest.
Use your head. What's to be gained from letting go of useful things like Pokemon? Certainly manipulating Pokemon helps people expand their possibilities. That much I can agree with. So naturally follows that I should only be able to use Pokemon. A Pokemon, even if it's revered as a deity, is still just a Pokemon. Olivia, so what if I chose you? That doesn't mean you're a threat. Come on, now you face me in battle. I can't wait to see the look on your face when you lost all hope.
Thank you for the heal. Let's do it.
I won't allow anyone to stop me, no matter who does what.
Aragaki circled a bit against the Cofagrigus, and I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to set up with Tifa, who didn't get a chance to fight against N. I eventually got her up to +4, eventually using a full restore as Getsus does, and from there Tifa is able to eliminate half of his team, including his ace, the Hacked Hydreigon. From there, each of his Pokemon get OHKO'd by my nukes, and Getsus is defeated.
My calculations. No, my careful schemes. This world should be mine. What? I created Team Plasma with my own hands. I am absolutely perfect. I am perfection. I am the perfect ruler of a perfect new world.
Now, N, do you think Pokemon and people should be separated?
Since I couldn't become the hero and retain the legendary Pokemon myself, because I'm a piece of shit and Reshiram knew that, I prepared someone for that purpose. N. He's nothing more than a freak without a human heart. Do you really think you're going to get through a warped person like that?
Alder, it's a wasted valuable time listening to him ramble on, if you remember these voices. He is the one without a human heart. You're right. He's truly pitiful. And I'm sure you have much to think about. I know you were not pursuing the truth because of Gets's manipulation, but because your heart was truly inspired. That is why you were able to meet the legendary Pokemon. But I have no right to be the hero. Is that so? I lost my voice there a little bit from the Gets's voice. What you and the legendary Pokemon are going to do from now on, that's important, wouldn't you say? Acting like you understand. Up until now, we've been fighting each other over our beliefs. Yet despite that, why? And even if we don't understand each other, that's not a reason to reject each other. There are two sides to any argument. Is there one point of view that has all the answers? Give it some thought. It is cool. I love that this game, black and white, because things aren't black and white, but the games are black and white, you know? I want to talk to you about something. It's about when I first met you in Accumulatown. I was shocked when I heard what your Pokemon was saying. I was shocked because it said that it liked you. It said that it wanted to be with you. I couldn't understand it. I couldn't believe there were Pokemon that liked people. Because up until now, I've never known a Pokemon like that. The longer my journey continued, the more unsure I became. All I kept meeting were Pokemon, and people communicated with one another and helped one another. That is why I needed to confirm my beliefs by battling with you. I wanted to confront you, hero to hero. I needed that more than anything. There's no way a person like me, someone who only understands Pokemon. No, actually, I didn't understand them either. No way I could measure up to you when you had met so many Pokemon and were surrounded by friends. The champion has forgiven me, and what I should do now is something I have to decide for myself. Olivia! You said you have a dream. That dream, make it come true! Wonderful dreams and ideas give you the power to change the world. If anyone can, it's you. Well then, farewell. And there we go. We have beaten Pokemon White, but I only use shinies. Now, we are not done. I have another plan. I have plans that I want to do for the next segment of this video, but it has been a long time since I've seen these credits. With 150 hours and 18 minutes of in-game time, the challenge has been completed. To finish this challenge, I wanted to do something super interesting. Since I love Unova so much, I thought we could do a victory lap, where I get a final shiny, but I go through the entire region to do so. My idea is we start at the beginning and do about 500 or so encounters on each route. I want to add the Desert Resort in there, because if I get the chance to get Sigilift, that'd be sick. If I get it early, the victory lap will be done. But if we get all the way through Victory Road and have no shiny Pokemon yet, I'll either pick like Dragon Spile Tower or Route 10 or something, and I'll go and hunt there, because those have interesting Pokemon that I could get that have good shinies. And so, Route 1, here we come. No way! So this is supposed to be the victory lap. map, and it's 822 encounters, and I found a fucking Lillipup, dude. There, you can actually see him. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Jesus Christ, this is so stupid, bro. Holy cow. Okay, so. Alright, there you see the little golden Lillipup. Look at how cute that is. I love Lillipup in this game. There are a couple Pokemon in this game that just look better in the 2D style than they do. Come on, hello. Focus on this. I was trying to get the number in there for the screenshot. Well, my victory lap is done, despite the fact that I have gone 2 routes so far. I have basically 2 copies of my save. This is my save, but on a different thing. And so, we have a little shiny Lillipup. And what I wanted to do was Master Ball it. That was the whole point of using this is that I wanted to Master Ball it. There we go. I can't believe I completed it today. This is so stupid. There we go. We caught our little Lillipup. Woohoo! I'm gonna run away from the Purloin on this game. Oh my gosh. I've not been doing a subsequent encounter because I'm like, I don't need to, but we're gonna nickname this little guy. And even though Koromaru was a boy, we're gonna name it Koromaru. I was kind of hoping that I'd actually encounter, you know, a shiny. Oh, actually, I can just show you here. No cheating. Oh, cheating. I forgot the slots down here. No cheating device. Yep. This is literally the same save file as this. I can show you because you saw friend. I have Tifa, Aigis, Junpei, Akihiko, and Aerith on the team. So this is the same file. Yeah, I'll do another encounter just to show, to prove that there's no cheats. So there's a normal Lillipup. I have no reason to cheat. This has been so much fun. Oh my god, dude, that's so sick. All right, I want to go. Oh, I'm hitting all the wrong buttons. I want to go check out the Lillipup. I will still do the victory lap. I will still do encounters on every other route, but I found my victory lap shiny, so if I don't find another shiny, it's fine. There, yep, Koromaru! Hasty with Vital Spirit. Look how cute! I'm so excited! Alright, we're gonna have to put her in the party and throw her out in a battle and see how it looks. Because unfortunately we missed the sparkles because it was on the secondary game. I ordered a second capture card, but I have yet to receive it. I ordered it like a month ago. Actually, it's been more like 3 weeks. Anyway, normal Patrat. Hold on. We'll turn up the volume. Shiny Koromaru caught in the Master Ball. That is so sick, dude. I'm so stoked about that. If you remember, you may or may not remember, back in when the Sword and Shield DLC came out, that I happened to randomly encounter a Lillipup, a shiny Lillipup in that game, or in the Isle of Armor, and I didn't realize it was shiny for a little while, and I saw it pop up on the bottom screen, and I'm like, wait a second, you'll see by my expression, but because I looked at it before it sparkled, and then it sparkled, and I'm like, that's it. But yeah. Anyway, we're just gonna destroy this Patrat real quick for not letting me escape. I didn't really say what I wanted to in my outro portion of this video, and so I thought I'd chime in here again after nearly being done with the edit and wrap things up a bit better. Also, I apologize, I'm sick. You can probably hear it in my voice. I'm recovering from a cold. Unova means a ton to me, and it's meant a lot to me for a long time, and this video just got so long, I didn't realize how much I wrote in the script, and then when I finished doing the VO recording, it was almost 2 hours long, and the video itself was almost 2 hours long, which is funny because of how much of the VO stuff I cut out and replaced it with the footage for the shinies, and it's just kind of crazy. I put my whole heart into this video, and so I know it's long, but truthfully I actually really like really long shiny videos, so I hope you're on the same boat, and if you've watched this far, thank you so much for your support, genuinely, because this video I put my everything into. This is at the moment is probably the magnum opus on the channel. I put so much time and effort into making this video, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. And this challenge was a lot of fun because I'd never done shiny hunting in Pokemon Black and White, and then I did, and I did this entire massive project out of it. And it took me a long damn time to do this project because I put it on hiatus for actually like 6 years. But I'm glad I came back to it because it was a ton of fun, and I got so many cool Pokemon and so many cool memories and so many like a couple new favorite Pokemon. Actually, specifically one new favorite Pokemon. A couple of the others were already favorites, but one brand new Pokemon, Lilligant, being so important to me, I have to go get a sitting cutie of it. I haven't bought one yet. I need to do that though. I gotta get some representation for her. But other than that, I really just hope you all enjoyed this video. The B-roll here is going to be me finding the 7 sages, because believe it or not, I never did that either. I played these games so many times, but I never bothered to do that because I found like 2 of them on accident, and then never went and looked for the rest of them, or ever looked it up because I didn't really care. I didn't really need the TMs, but it was kind of cool to go explore all these places. It also forced me to train on my team a couple like 20 levels or something, because every Pokemon, every enemy trainer in the post game apparently has level 70s or something, which is ridiculous. Not quite that high, but high level Pokemon. Anyway, not important. Yeah, the next project is currently in the works. It's not a shiny badge quest, but it's been a different kind of fun in a way. Let's say that. But we'll be going back to Alola. That's your hint. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I really do hope you all enjoyed. If you did, a like is appreciated. I'm gonna turn it back to my previous self to actually end the video. Yeah, I really hope you all enjoyed. If you did, like is appreciated. Make sure to subscribe for more, and I will talk to you all later.
Oh, baby.